Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, welcome back to AussieVerse. I am OmniBeau, joined by Sharif and Grodd. Watson, how are you, boys?
Good, very good.
Ready to smash.
Ready to smash indeed. Tonight's idea is brought to you straight from the mind of Grodd Watson. Today we are asking the very hulked out question. Even though we know he's the strongest, can Hulk actually sustain his own movie and his own comic series? Good comic series. Some people might shout out straight away going, of course. Some of you might be saying, no, of course he can't. Mark, what led you to this way of thinking? Take it away, friend.
Well, this question I was interested in, which we haven't discussed any of our opinions here, so this is all going to be fresh. We don't know what our answers are going to be here. So I think this is a very interesting discussion. But on this July solicits that just came out of Marvel, he is getting a new title, Hulk. Incredible Hulk, it's called. And it's by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who is currently writing Action. And I think is a great writer. I think he's written Aliens as well. So I'm interested to see his take on Hulk. But I tried the Donny Cates when that first came out, and I thought it was good. But it just, like, I only try to cap myself with numbers of what titles I read, so I cut it. Gave it 2 issues. Before that, the Al Ewing, who's also an amazing writer. Great start to the Immortal Hulk. I think I got about 15 to 20 issues in. I can't quite remember, but I cut that too because it all just sort of went south with that. But that's where I came. I haven't read too many of his older stuff, like Hulk's older stuff, so I'm not 100% sure, which brought me to a question thinking about whether I should pick up the Hulk. Is Hulk, because people do often ask the question, is Hulk an interesting enough character to hold a solo series and a movie? Because that's another question we should ask too, I think, because he's had 2. They've been okay. Could he have another one in the MCU? Would it be okay? So, who wants to go first? Oh,
okay, Rick? Sure. I was trying to be polite. So I've got to be honest with you, Mark. When you first addressed the question of can he sustain his own comic book, I straight away thought to myself, are you nuts? Of course he can, because he has, and for a very long time.
Yep.
When you explained how much you've read of Hulk and your exposure to Hulk, it makes more sense as to why you might pose that question. Personally, I've been a huge fan of Hulk ever since Planet Hulk. That was when I was reading Hulk religiously ever since then. It seems to be the way for me. When some big storyline happens with some sort of a character or group, that sucks me in, and then I stick with them for a very long time. So can he sustain his own comic? Yes. Yes, he absolutely can. Like other characters, like any movie, any sort of written art, I guess if that's the right statement, it all depends on the writer. You got a bad writer, you got a bad series. You got a good writer, you got a good series. Have some series been better than others? Yeah, of course they have. But you could say that about any character too. So yes, that's my answer. For the movies, my answer to that one is yes, abso-freaking-lutely he can. Again, comes down to the writing of the movie. Unfortunately, Hulk is in some sort of limbo with, I believe, Paramount and Marvel. Obviously that seems to be going well for Marvel. Now that they've introduced She-Hulk and another character that I won't mention in case you haven't seen all of She-Hulk. But these characters wouldn't be allowed in Marvel properties going back a few years ago. I feel like I'm rambling. My answer is yes to everything.
No, it's a good answer. Sharif, what is your answer to these questions?
There's not much that I disagree with Bo on what he rambled on about. Yeah, I think like all right. So personally, for me, the art can in terms of for the books, the art can be not to my liking so much, because I've got my preference for others, and those that I may not read because of the art. But if it's written well, I think the art it transcends the art. You can just close one eye and just blaze through the book. If it's if it's like on top of your read pile for the week, done. Um, but for movies, I don't know. It so far, uh, Hulk hasn't had a good track record. Um,
You know what pisses me off about this problem? That and don't get me wrong, it's not your fault, Sharif, because I get where you're coming from, right? I get it. But you know what pisses me off? The fact that the reason why we don't have good Hulk movies, apart from the politics of Paramount and all that, is because we don't actually have enough exposure to the Hulk. Let me explain. Every time we see the Hulk, he's been, up until the last saga from Infinity War, he's always been a rampaging monster fighting Banner and so forth, right? The only evolution we have ever had with the Hulk has been recently when he's turned Smart Hulk, right?
Mm.
What pisses me off is the fact that one of my favorite iterations of the Hulk is Mr. Fix-It, for example. The mob boss, grey, cigar smoking, I love that Hulk, man.
It's just you and one other guy, but dude, the rest of the world.
But we're never going to see that in a movie. You're never going to see Immortal Hulk in a movie where it's a full-blown horror movie where he gets chopped up and then put back together and ripped apart and put back together. You're never going to see a Devil Hulk. Well, you might see a Devil Hulk. We may see a Red Hulk soon. But there are so many Hulks that we're never going to see, because the only exposure we get to Hulk is in other people's movies where he gets little bits of progression, and 90% of the time, he's rampaging Hulk. Rant number 2 over.
To add into that, there was a Joe Fix-It miniseries that just came out by Peter David, and it's selling quite well. So, yeah, I've thought about picking that up. Sharif, any more to add? Or
see, when the books are doing well, it's because of a certain writer, Peter David. Dude. But how about get them to write the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have thought that it's a no-brainer, but then, like I said, about the politics of it all.
Mate, you're talking to 10-year-old me watching. You're talking to 10-year-old me watching Spider-Man cartoons, going, "Why can't they do it exactly like the comics? Why do they make it different than 15 and there's new Spider-Man cartoon? Finally, why do they make it different from the comics?" Sorry.
Yeah, agree. So, well, my view on it all, I've always liked the Hulk as a character. I like the concept of Bruce versus Hulk, sort of the mental battles of it, and I think that's really interesting. I think that's something that you can really dig deep into. The reason why I bring up this question, because I want to read new Hulk books, and it just hasn't hit the mark for me at the moment. I feel like it's kind of the same as, and don't get me twisted here, it's kind of the same as the Punisher, where he's an amazing character, but you get to a point where you just don't know what to do with him that hasn't already been done. And the new Jason Aaron one's gone to a new complete level, and he did something different, and then you get people get backlash about it, which me personally like.
You mean Johnny Cates?
Jason Aaron's doing the new
Punisher.
Oh, Punisher. Sorry. Yeah, right. I thought you were talking about what Cates has done in the new Hulk, because
he did do something different.
That's pretty out there.
It was, yeah. So, and that didn't quite hit the mark for me, which is fine. He was trying something different. But I guess that's my point. Like, people are trying something different with Hulk. It just might not be landing because maybe there isn't enough there. But again, I love Hulk. And I think, go on, Shred.
Did you drop the title because? All right. So you said it didn't hit the mark for you.
Yeah, for me. Yeah.
Did you expect more of the same? And because it's something new, it's something different, and it just doesn't connect with you.
Yeah. I guess I am looking for something new. Well, I'm not sure what I'm looking for. I'm hoping the writer would figure that out for me. So, yeah, I guess this is my point because, look, I'm about 90% sure I'm going to pick up this Philip Kennedy Johnson. I'm going to give it a go again. But yeah, I'm cautious now just because of the last two. And as I said, they've not been bad runs, and the writers have done really well of what they've done for their twist. But as I said, sometimes I've got to make cuts, and usually it's those ones that I'm not quite enjoying as much as the others that will get that cut.
See, I don't know. Well, no one knows what's happened with Donny Cates, but obviously something has happened with him personally, which is why he's had to stop. But, mate, that guy gave us, in my opinion, the greatest Venom run of all time. Let alone other bits of beautiful wonder like Silver Surfer Black and Guardians of the Galaxy and God, who knows what else, man. That I think it's not coincidence that his mental health or whatever is going down, and he's writing a book that people aren't like. Maybe he's not putting everything into it like he should, and he knows it, and that's why he's left. I'm not saying that's what's happened. I'm just putting a theory out there. Whatever the case is, I bet you. I first of all, I have faith in him, and I bet you if he finished that run, it would have come back and been awesome. That's what I think, because everything he's done is awesome.
I 100% agree. Like, this is nothing against Donny Cates. I reckon he's a great writer. Nothing against Al Ewing, who's just as good as a writer too. But yeah, I agree, Bo. Maybe if you're not enjoying life so much, you're not going to put as much effort into your work. As I said, I'm not saying that the run's bad, but yeah, it just didn't hit for me. And I was wondering if anybody, like fans out there, had the same reaction. Maybe comment on this video and stuff like this. But yeah, it just didn't hit the mark for me, which is also surprising. Donny Cates is a good writer, and so was Al Ewing. And as I said, Al Ewing's was great to start with. I did last a while, but yeah. For
all we know, he did put his best foot in Hulk, and it just wasn't good, you know. You just got no idea, do you?
But it's always up for everybody's opinion as well. Maybe people liked it, so yeah, it's just me. I mean, like, that's the thing about opinions; they're never wrong. It's just people's opinions, right?
The current Venom run is something that's a bit up and down at the moment. So, you know, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
We can talk about that on another video because I'd like to get your views on that.
I'm waiting for it to go a bit further before it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not enjoying this, but it's Venom and I've got to keep reading it because it's going to get good. It's going to get good. It's going to get good.
That's going to be another topic. How long do you stay on a title?
Exactly.
How loyal are you to that character?
Yeah. No, I'm loyal. I will stick through Venom through thick and thin, just like Spider-Man. I do not care. They're the two titles I will never stop. However, I think just because a 40-issue run works for one writer doesn't necessarily mean it works for another.
You'll just go, this is crap. This is bullshit.
Yeah, I 100% agree, Bo, because everyone's got a different take, and it might be not the take that you like. Again, that's up for everybody else's opinion or their like. And yeah, well, that's for the Venom run. That's Al Ewing. So, yeah. Sharif, any more to add on this subject or?
Nah.
No. Yeah. Well, I think I got the answer. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick it up, and I will let you know how I'm liking it.
But yeah, please do. Please.
I'm gonna look forward to Grodd's review.
Yes, I will do a Grodd's review.
I'll be getting that Mr. Fix-It trade when it finally comes out.
Me too, man. Another discussion we need to have if we read that together, I reckon.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today on this episode with a very Hulk discussion. If you do want to chat with us or give us any ideas for any other videos, or you just want to, say something to us, go hit us up on Instagram. You can find us at AussieVerse_Comx, where you can also check out our graphic designer, A51_designs. And as usual, we are proudly sponsored by Comx. And before we get a word from our sponsor, Sharif, what is AussieVerse?
For life!
I thought you were going to rip your shirt, Jesus.
This show is sponsored by the Comx shop. Check out comx.cx for all things Comx and find out what Comx is all about. We hope you enjoyed the show.